Mr Cameron's comments are designed to convince voters that only the Tories know how to reform the system of expenses. Now, last week, 3 Labour MPs, Elliot Morley, David Chater and Jim Devine, were all charged in connection with abusing the system. The Crown Prosecution Service says that they, as well as Lord Hanningfield, who's a Conservative member of the Lords, have already brought up parliamentary privilege as a defence. Well, today, David Cameron will pledge to introduce a new Parliamentary Privilege Act to stop MPs being able to avoid justice. Downing Street says it's for the courts to determine whether parliamentary privilege applies and that a new law will be brought in if necessary. One Labour backbencher says that the Tories are just seeking to make headlines. And for their part, the Liberal Democrats are also demanding changes, saying that they would amend the existing Act ahead of the election.
What else is happening? I'll have the front pages of the papers after Charlotte with this.
Eamon, thank you. ITV's been fined for animal cruelty in the making of its hit show I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. 2 contestants, including the winner, the chef Gino D'Acampo, killed and ate a rat while the programme was being filmed in Australia. Our Australia correspondent Ian Woods. That'll be great.
Yeah, should be. On to the front pages, on down of what else is happening, and then Sam with the papers right after this.
Eamon, thank you. At least 5 people have been killed by a huge gas explosion at a power plant in America. It happened on the outskirts. Sitting now, Sam.
I'll be gone by then.
We're ahead of them once again.
Yeah, we're always behind the work out together.
No, she's on MTV while I'm on the treadmill. Yeah. She has that broken heel thing. She's dressed as an American footballer in that.
Yes, I know that video.
The newspapers, The Independent first of all, and it's David Cameron here. David Cameron's
time in over a year. Cameron is panicking, thinks it's a result of various policy mistakes they've made, announcement mistakes over recent times. They had one over family tax credit, they had one over spending. Gordon Brown have been obsessed with protecting the old elite. If you're from Cameron's background, that's a bit rich. But of course, this is what this is destined to be. Still, it's all heating up. It's going to be closer than we might. We're allowed to open schools in, for instance, rubbish tips, or old disused pubs, or warehouses like something out of a gangster.
The fact that there was all these social disturbances happening in Belfast at the time outside, and partly to do with there was concern about the sort of tuck shops that were growing up.
Because you don't know what they're eating at home, so at least you're sure they're getting 1 square meal a day, and it affects...
It can be quite a traumatic experience. To this day, I still remember being made to eat some hideous kind of mousse thing with a skin on the top, and it was awful.
They've got aspirations to go all trendy in school canteens now. We saw what Jamie Oliver did with his campaign a couple of years ago, and this guy, Rob Rees, is a French restaurant up London. And having said that, of course, pickled goat's knees and everything in cream and butter. It's just a fancier form of unhealthy, if you ask me.
Yeah, and it's a way, a guy who's... We're going to lock them in until you guys put less salt on your chips, or, you know, start...
The kids want. That's why you have to force it down there.
Right, this next...
I like it, because it happened to you when you were young. True. But, of course, we're not in the day-to-day sort of...
Who've got
only people like you...
worried about it.
I've got nothing to hide. I've got nothing to hide, but I resent the idea of you. It'll be nothing in comparison to Belfast at the Olympics. They've even got nations, Amy, and I know you'll be a keen spectator at the Olympics.
And after the mighty Burnley marched on again in the league at the weekend.
That in somehow,
somehow. Thank you very much indeed. Sam Delaney, he's back in an hour's time. Let us know. Serving those up after Charlotte with a rundown of what else is happening. Morning to you.
Thanks very much, Eamon. Good morning. At least 5 people have died in a massive explosion at a power plant in America. A further 12 people were injured in the blast. It happened in the American state of Connecticut on the outskirts of the city of Middletown. Keith Graves reports from Washington.
Been happening for Alexandra in the last year as well. If you've got any questions for any points you'd like to put to her, at Sky Charlotte is the tweet address, at Eamon Holmes or news@sky.com is the email address. Thank you, Charlotte. Front pages of the paper. Delaney makes of the forthcoming leaders' debates, which are going to be televised, in his newspaper review after Charlotte with a rundown of what else is happening.
Thanks, Eamon. At least 5 people have been killed by a huge gas explosion at a power plant in America. It happened on the outskirts of the city of Middletown in Connecticut. Any questions, let me know.
Yes, thanks for reminding me about that.
In case you'd forgotten.
Yes, nearly forgot she was coming in. So obsessed I was with Sam Delaney from Heat magazine. They're all having their say now as to the rules.
Too many people are having how they respond under pressure. I say the more chaotic the better. Throw things at them, see how they get on then. I want to see if these guys are know what's coming in these debates. Then we're not going to get
cat person.
Well, no, I do.
Personally, I'm a Kit Kat person. I had 2 of them over the weekend, which I shouldn't have had.
What about both? That would be a good combination, wouldn't it? A Kit Kat and then a banana.
The Prime Minister is ditching the kit
day, which I think anything that many times a day can't be healthy.
No.
I mean, it can. They do say that it can affect your stomach quite.
Talking about the toilet, if you are taking a lot of bananas...
Let me ask you this. If you were an employee of Tesco as a shelf stacker, would you appreciate cameras watching you whilst you went to the...
While you go to the
They
loo,
are
are they
watching
monitoring
you
the
in
door
the
to see you
toilet.
go in and out?
It's a private moment. There is a camera inside the toilet at Tesco's.
Not
because
inside.
Either way, when you are going to the toilet, that is a private matter. Tesco are worried about their staff members spending too long, killing time in the toilet.
It depends
so
on
they've
often than a man. A man stays there for longer, for some understand.
Listen, what goes on in the toilet is between me and my conscience, and that's how it should remain. And
that is just wrong. That's
wrong.
Really horrible.
In there and out as quick as possible, I think.
Yeah, especially, you know, and then they bring the newspaper out and you're thinking, no,
smells.
don't leave that around.
No.
if your employees here started monitoring your toilet breaks on a CCTV camera, would you complain?
Well, personally, I wouldn't have a problem with it because I'm not spending too long in the toilet. Maybe it's the people there that are spending too long in the toilet.
Jackie, for instance, but to the rest of us, I think, are fine.
I can hear her shouting from here. She's not happy.
Cackling or something. Poor old Jackie. Because of the fact he's 6'7", they kind of assume he's fouling even when he's not.
But it's because of his taller, he's awkward, he's gangly,
he's
isn't
awkward,
he? And those elbows and everything,
so it appears to be that he's, even if there is no intent there, for being abnormally large.
No, you're just abnormal.
And it's the people that round and they spot you first because you're the tall person, so that would why you
and
might be in
the
the
little sneaky ones who are often the little terriers, the aggressive characters.
And Sam, just want to finish with...
She was iconic, and she is the most... became a web consultant for TV firms. She's got £1 million house in Dulwich, they reckon here. She's done fantastically for herself. Then you've got Ali, the cafe owner. He had a chronic gambling addiction, if you remember. He complains that he's owner, which seems rather hard to believe. Suzanne Tully, Michelle Fowler, Debbie. We all remember Yappy Debbie. No one knows what she's done. Unfortunately, the Sun have been round and doorstepped these people, which I think to the national icon.
EastEnders have not. You should have. You should have. Thank you very much indeed. That's Sam Delaney from Heat Magazine. Thank you. And that was your news from this morning. I'll have the front pages of the newspapers for you right after Charlotte with a rundown of the other stories making the news today.
Eamon, thank you. At least 5 people have died in a massive explosion at a power plant in America. A further 12 people were injured in the blast. It happened in the American